Hi, everybody. This is Thea again. And today we are going to talk about water and hydration. So let me go back to the front. Okay, so water and hydration is very, very important for normal body function. So we're going to go over what hydration is, symptoms of dehydration, how we can get enough water, and any foods that contain a lot of water content. So you don't always have to drink your hydration, so to say. Okay, so hydration is just the act of drinking and or absorbing water. Okay, so typically you're going to want to try and do half of your body weight. So I put a example for a person that's 150 to 250 pounds. You're going to either need 8 cups of water, that's around 150, or 15 cups of water, that's about 250 pounds. Now, with the older adult population, you don't need as much water all the time. So you can have as little as 7 cups if you're in this lower body range. And that's just a minimum. So we still want you to try and get at least 7 cups of water. So 7 cups, 1 cup is 8 ounces. So that's about how much you should be getting each day. Okay. So, and more or less hydration or water or whatever you want to call it is going to be dependent on if you have a certain illness or physical activity. So say if someone has a chronic heart disease or some type of liver or kidney disease, they might need less water, but someone who's working out or walking a lot, they're probably going to need more water per day. Okay. So why is hydration so important? And again, I need to move my face over to the other side. So it helps to regulate your body temperature. So that's one. It helps to keep your joints lubricated, prevents infections, delivers nutrients to cells, keep organs functioning, improves sleep, memory, and mood. So just on this left side are pretty good reasons to try and get enough water, at least those 7 cups that I was mentioning before. So if you're dehydrated, you actually your body can't regulate its temperature more. So sometimes if someone's dehydrated, they might actually stop sweating. So our body's mechanism to cool itself down is to sweat. But if you sweat too much and you don't replenish that water, you might actually stop sweating because your body is trying to figure out another way to cool itself down. Keeps joints lubricated. So the same way that we need healthy fats, we also need water to help cushion our joints, especially in our knees, elbows, shoulders, hips. Prevents infections. So those two kind of go together, which is delivering nutrients to cells. So if you've ever heard that water helps to flush out toxins, stuff like that, helps to move things through your intestinal system so you don't have constipation, which is also one of these bullets. So it helps to prevent things from kind of sticking around in your body a little bit too long. And it also helps to keep your blood a little bit more viscous, so a lot flowing, so the nutrients can get to the cells as they need it. It also helps to keep your organs functioning. So kind of going back to where it's helping to move things along. If you don't have enough water, say within your kidneys, if your urine is really dark, and if it's chronically like that, then your kidney function might suffer. And the same thing with sleep, memory, and mood. So if you become dehydrated, it definitely messes with kind of a brain function. One of the symptoms of dehydration is a headache. So you can kind of see why having enough water is so important. And it kind of goes back to where it keeps things lubricated. So even if you are dehydrated, you think of your brain can get dehydrated. Your brain can actually not have enough water or like viscous fluid up there. So if it gets dehydrated, then that will definitely affect your sleep, memory, and mood. So I already went over prevents constipation, and it also prevents muscle cramps. So because water helps move nutrients into different organs and muscles and everything, if you don't have enough water in your muscles, it can become oversaturated with a lot of different nutrients or unsaturated with a lot of different nutrients, which will cause a muscle cramp. One sign of dehydration is kind of like dry, scaly skin. So it helps to keep your skin hydrated. I mentioned kidney function, and it does help regulate your blood pressure. So if you are dehydrated, you're more prone to have high blood pressure, again, because your blood is not as viscous and it's not able to pump through your veins and arteries as efficiently. So let me move to the next one. So dehydration is really just fluid losses that exceed intake, and potential causes of diarrhea. Potential causes of dehydration can be diarrhea, heat exposure, and sweating. So a lot of sweating, or just kind of the heat in general. Medications and diuretics. There are a lot of medications that cause you to have to go to the bathroom more often. So a lot of urination without replenishing any type of water will cause dehydration, or just a general diuretic. Vomiting and chronic underconsumption of water. So if you're just not drinking water on a normal basis, then that can cause dehydration. So a lot of these symptoms I've already gone over in the first slide, but I really just want to reiterate the big 4 signs of dehydration, which you see right here, which is dry skin, headache, dark urine, and thirst. So dry skin, if you are chronically dehydrated, you'll probably notice that your skin is a lot drier than it would be. And you can also see if your lips are always kind of like crusting or kind of like scaly, that's probably a sign that you're dehydrated and you might need to get something to drink. Headache. And so what I mentioned before is that it causes your blood volume to drop, and there's less blood and oxygen going to the brain. Also, with lost electrolytes, and we're going to talk about electrolytes here in a sec, can trigger headaches and migraines. So if your brain is not getting the blood and oxygen that it needs, it's not getting the water that it needs, it can trigger the headache. One of the big signs of dehydration, and one way that you can tell if you're dehydrated, is to check your urine. So again, I need to move my face. And so this scale right here, you can kind of see what your urine should look like, which is this pale kind of hay color, down to severely hydrated. So if you're starting to get to where your urine is really looking actually yellow, like a highlighter or something, then that's a sign that you probably need to drink not 1 or 2 cups of water, but you need to rehydrate yourself, probably with a little bit more water than that. Okay. And it also should have no odor. So if your urine has an odor, like an ammonia odor, again, that's probably that it's really concentrated and you need to drink some water. Your kidneys are probably working overtime. And some other things that could be signs of dehydration are feeling dizzy, fatigue, and or fainting. I've gone over constipation and headache and muscle cramps and everything, but fatigue and feeling dizzy can be a sign of dehydration. So thirst. So we always think of thirst as a sign that we're dehydrated or we need to drink something, but actually thirst is a sign that we're already dehydrated. So thirst is actually a poor indicator of dehydration, because usually by the time you actually feel thirsty or you have that dry mouth, your body has already experienced a level of dehydration that it shouldn't be in the first place. So you always kind of want to try and combat that with regular consumption of water or water-dense foods. And these are those water-rich foods or dense foods. So this, again, is not an inclusive list, but you have cucumbers, radishes, celery, there's blueberries, tomatoes, citrus fruits like the grapefruit or oranges, broccoli, pears. I'm pretty sure you can think of some stuff that's not on this list. But here are some foods that you can try and consume that contain water, so you're not always guzzling glass after glass after glass. Now, with water itself, if you like water, you're fine with drinking water, please do. You can also try and add little splashes of a juice in there. So if you want to sweeten it up with like something else, or you want to have an infused type water, you can definitely cut up some cucumbers here. You can cut up some strawberries or any other type of fruit. I've seen people do blueberries in their water just to add a little bit of flavor if you don't just like drinking plain water all the time. That's completely fine. I've also seen that people like their seltzer waters or something, or those like lightly flavored bubbly waters. That's great too. Whichever way that you like to consume your water, whether it be from fresh fruits and vegetables or kind of splashing your water with some fruit juice, either way works perfectly fine. So I want to go into electrolytes, because just consuming water is not enough all the time. So when we sweat or when we have diarrhea or we're vomiting or whatever, or we're just expending we're getting dehydrated just by breathing and stuff like that, we also need to replenish what are called electrolytes. And those are the things that help the fluid balance in our cells. And there's 4 basic ones. There's magnesium, calcium, sodium, and potassium. So sodium is the one, if you've ever sweat and you kind of taste it's on your mouth or something, you taste it, it tastes salty. So sodium is the main electrolyte that comes out in your sweat. Potassium too, but you really taste the sodium. So if you do become dehydrated, you do want to drink water, but you also want to try and have something salty. Now, if you have high blood pressure or, heart disease or kidney disease, and you're kind of on a lower sodium diet, obviously that you don't want to try and do that. But if you're healthy otherwise, something like a little salty snack will help you replenish those electrolytes. Calcium, so you can drink milk. So milk will have the calcium in it, which is also considered a fluid that you can drink. Magnesium, this is spinach, and then potassium. We all associate bananas with potassium. So trying to have something with all 4 of these kind of elements in your daily food or in your daily meals will definitely help replace those electrolytes that you might be losing when you are sweating or breathing or just kind of like on a normal everyday basis. So here are some foods that are electrolyte rich: milk, pickles, cheese, coconut water, celery, banana, pumpkin seed, and watermelon. Watermelon is great, especially salted. I love salted watermelon. And if you do too, that'd be a great way and a really sweet way to help put some electrolytes into your body. And so watermelon is really high in potassium. If you add some salt, you'll get your sodium back in there too. So like I said, the milk has calcium. The pickles have a little bit of that kind of vinegary taste. So those are good for potassium as well. The cheese has calcium and so forth. So I hopefully inspired you all to get some more water into your diet. And it doesn't have to be where you're guzzling water like just at one time. If you don't think that you're getting enough water, you can try and separate it throughout the day. So every hour on the hour, trying to drink 8 ounces. And 8 ounces actually isn't that much. If you do one of those tall glasses, that's actually about 16 ounces. So you're kind of doubling up the amount of water that you're getting at one time. So that's great. And like I mentioned, I'm going to go back to these foods. You can also get your water by consuming these. So this is another reason why it's always good to try and get a wide range of fruits and vegetables into your diet, because a lot of these will have some of the water. So as I mentioned, for older adults, you're trying to get around 7 to 8 glasses or 7 to 8 cups of water each day. So if you only make it to like 5 or 6 or something, but you've had a lot of cucumbers, you maybe had some strawberries and an orange and, some lettuce and celery and with a tomato and stuff, you might have actually eaten that extra cup of water. So you're covered. So that's what I really want to stress to you all as well, to try and eat your water, quote unquote, and spice up your water if you're trying to get a little bit more flavor into your daily water intake. So I hope I answered any questions that you might have. If you do have additional questions, please call or visit the Terrific site and ask one of the dietitians, and they'll be able to help you. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.